this time. I've been trying to go live. The last time I was just hearing a lot of echo and feedback, so hopefully this thing comes through this time. I'm gonna see if anybody chimes in, comes in. I'm just gonna wait. How about that? So yeah. Guess my light is not that great. Y'all, give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's do this thing. So I started a live. So I started at 5. I really did try to start on time. And then I got interrupted. My daughter decides to text me and say, Mommy, I need some money. I want to get some breakfast. So I'm like, oh my gosh, really? I thought it was an emergency. So I stopped my live for a money request. But anyway, she could have texted that to me. She did not have to call me, interrupt my live. But anyway, I digress. Let us continue on, because I was in the middle of the story about Tamar. So we're gonna talk. Okay, so we've been kind of doing a genealogy. We talk about how the genealogy of Jesus Christ was mentioned in the book of Matthew. And so we have to go back to the Old Testament to see about this lineage that was considered as the lineage of Christ. So that being said, we want to really like hone in on all the people, the key players, the characters that played a part in the lineage of Jesus Christ. So we start from Abraham, and Abraham, of course, was Genesis 17. And so he was the son of Terah. Terah had 3 sons: Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And so these characters, or these children of Terah, basically came from the line of Noah, right? So this was after the flood, after things was going on, and they were supposed to be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth. Yeah. Hi. Thank you for coming in, Chow Mein. Appreciate you tuning in. So yeah, we're talking about the line of the lineage of Jesus, and we're starting from the first mention when they talk about the story of Abraham and how he had his children and his children's children. We're talking about all those first mentions of how everything came to be. And so we started out really getting really in depth into the study of why it is there was animosity between the Canaan people in Canaan line, and why they were not even wanting to be any part or have children by them. Hey Tennessee, how y'all doing? And so yeah, we're just really diving deep into those studies. It really does my heart good to see y'all out here. Thank you so much. And if you like this type of content, like, subscribe, and do all that good YouTube stuff. Okay. All right. So thanks again. So Matthew has some people in there in the line of in the lineage, in the generations of Jesus. And he said he's the son of David, and said he's the son of Abraham. So all of that ties into everything that was spoken ahead of time. Oh, Pito Grant, how you doing? Where's Pito Grant? Is that in California? Oh, why we got skulls? Okay. Thank you. Blessings, blessings to everybody. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm definitely Algeria. Okay, all right, sounds good. Um, I can't tell you, I'm not good at geography, but you know what? One thing that I'm learning, that everything that's happening that's happening in the Bible, like was in the middle region, like in Europe. So yeah. Very diverse live stream, right? We got Pito Graham, we got like a lot of different people. So awesome. I'm so glad y'all tuning in. Thank you so much. You know, it's been good to like pick up on um all those places. Tell me something. If you see the title of the thing, is that the reason why you tuned in, or did you tune in for any other particular reason? Because I think maybe if we want to learn more about the origins, you know, and the things that were first mentioned in the Bible, then maybe we can do this study together to know like what was meant, or why people felt the way they felt about their own like family, you know. The religion I worship is wrong. Oh, well, I'm not really under a particular religion. So that's the thing. I don't I really just read the Bible to find out the origins of the matters of people, humanity, you know. Um yeah, people may worship as they please, but humanity, the Bible, it talks about our humanity. It talks about the fact that we were birthed, and we have our own thoughts and processes. We have free will, right? Everybody's free to do whatever they want to do. And but sometimes there are consequences, sometimes there's not. So we just live together, hopefully in harmony, right? So that we see the blessings of who we call God. We call God our creator, and the one who endowed us with the ability to have a free will, right? So some people worship, because I know even in the New Testament, Jesus said we worship what we don't not know. We don't know what we worship. Yes, peace and harmony is definitely much better than war. We want to always be striving, because I know even like what I've been reading in Genesis, that when it came time for like Abram and Lot to, you know, kind of like separate, Abraham was like, okay, you go this way and I'll go that way. If you go that way, I'm gonna go this way, because it's better to have peace and harmony than to always be striving, you know, um, for territory, for anything of that nature. You know, there's too much that God has given us for us to always be at war, right? If you think that that's true, go ahead and give this a thumbs up, and just continue to keep watching, because I'm really talking about the things that God had put in place, and the mind of God, and the reason why he did what he did when he favored the children of Israel, when he led them through to the promised land, is because he was trying to give them an inheritance. He tried to give them purpose in life. He tried to, you know, have them at rest and at peace. So I think that speaks to even his mercy, because he was merciful to them even when they weren't doing and following his prescription, or his what he was trying to get them to do. When they didn't listen, he was still with them, because he had promised. So he's gonna be um going after his own. You know, he was gonna go and finish what he started. He's always been God is how you say, always gonna be fulfiller. He will fulfill what he said he's gonna do. He always fulfilled what he says. So whenever he spoke, it always came to pass. Okay, so when God speaks, things come to pass. That's just the bottom line. Like it doesn't matter what we think and what we say. because his word prevails and he's going to do his good pleasure. Hallelujah. So thank you so much for coming and tuning into that. Let's continue. We were on chapter 39. No, 38. Where and Onan and Shelah, those were the sons of Judah. Now Judah was out of line. What I mean by out of line, he was out of line in the fact that he went and married one of the daughters of the Canaanite, and they weren't supposed to do that. They weren't supposed to go with the Canaanites because their line was cursed from the beginning. Okay, so because their line was cursed, it was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? So even God responded. He said, hey, this is not right. The way they're treating their wives and the way that they were acting. So let's continue. Because at this point, Tamar was the wife, and she was made to be a widow. And because she was a widow, hold on. She was a widow, and in her widowhood, she was told that she was going to marry one of the sons, Shelah, but because he was not being, the father-in-law wasn't being forthright, he decided that he was not going to make Shelah, because he didn't want to lose Shelah. I think that's what it was. And so since he didn't want to lose Shelah, he never gave Tamar to be the wife of Shelah, because he lost his two other sons. Judah was like, I ain't trying to lose my other son. So Judah got tricked into sleeping with Tamar. And that's how we have Phares and Zara of Tamar. Okay, so pay attention, because this verse 29 is when Phares and Zara, they are twins. And they were twins. Just like Esau and Jacob. They were twins. And they came and let's see. They came in verse 3 of Matthew. So now we're putting two and two together, and marrying up these people, because the spelling that was in Matthew is different from the spelling that is in Genesis. Okay? In Genesis, Phares was the first child, the first twin that came out, and it was spelled Pharez. And Zara was spelled Zarah. Now, when it was mentioned in Matthew, it was a different spelling. They spelled Phares with a S instead of a Z, and Zara didn't have an H. So there was a little bit of a change. So let's say, for instance, you looking for Phares in the New Testament, or you're looking in the New Testament and you're trying to see if Phares was mentioned in Genesis or any other book in the Old Testament, you wouldn't find it because it's a different spelling. And that's the thing, but they are the same people, okay? Because it says that Judas, now it was spelled differently, Judas begat Phares and Zara of Thamar. Even they spelled Thamar differently. See, Thamar wasn't even spelled the same way. And begot Ezram, and Ezram begot Aram. Okay? So all of these from the New Testament were written in Genesis. But we just need to find them because they're not all spelled the same. Why do you think they're not all spelled the same? If you have been studying the word and like, go ahead and drop a comment, and tell me what you think of that. Because all of these spellings are different, but they're talking about the same people. Okay? They are talking about the same line, the same lineage as they did before. So let's talk on that piece in Genesis 38, because this is kind of like the first family from Abraham to Isaac, Isaac to Jacob, and Jacob to Judas. Now, remember, they didn't always, you have to pay attention to who they chose to be in this lineage, because it mattered. It mattered. Why did they choose Judas, and why didn't they choose Reuben or Zebulun or Naphtali or Dan? I mean, why do you think that is? Why didn't they choose? Why they chose Judas to be the bearer of the line? They chose him, and he wasn't even the firstborn of Abraham. Or I mean, sorry, Jacob. He wasn't even the firstborn of Jacob, because Jacob had and let's see, Judas came from Leah. He wasn't even the one from who Jacob loved, because Jacob loved Rachel. He didn't even love Leah like that. So for them to choose Judas as the benefactor of the line of the lineage of Abraham was like, it was kind of puzzling to me. You know, it lends itself to just happenstance, not necessarily like had a rhyme or reason. It's never really explained. At least I know I didn't get a good explanation from the text. So, but let's continue and see, because Judas at this point has gotten tricked, right? He got tricked into having Ferris and Zara. They're twins. And so now Joseph is brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him for how much? 20 pieces of silver. Captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him in the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. So the word of the Lord came with Joseph, because Joseph was favored. Why was Joseph favored? Because they went from talking about Judas to talking about Joseph, because Joseph was the favored one. Never really planned to talk about Judas, but for some reason, his line, his lineage was chosen. Judah was chosen. Judah was chosen of all that, of all the 12 sons that Judah had. That Jacob had. Judah was chosen. But Joseph was the favored one of Jacob. Get that? I don't know. So the master saw the Lord was with him, and the Lord made him all that he did to prosper in his hand. So he was favored even with God. So God was with him, Emmanuel. And his master saw the Lord was with him, and the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. Joseph found grace in his sight. Okay? And he served him. And he made him overseer over his house. And all that he had, he put in his hand. So he had him in charge of everything. And Joseph found grace in his sight. And he served him, and he made him overseer over his house. And all that he had, he put in his hand. And it came to pass from that time that he had made him overseer of his house and over all the land, that Joseph, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian house. So now, because Joseph is blessed, the Egyptian house was blessed because of Joseph. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in his house and in the field. Almost like Laban. Do you remember, like Laban was blessed because Jacob was there? So now Joseph is blessing that house. Because Joseph is there, they are blessed. The Potiphar's house was blessed because of Joseph. Okay, so that's how he became overseer. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand. So now Joseph's in charge of everything. And he knew not aught that he had. So he didn't even know anything that he had. He didn't keep the books. Actually, who kept the books? Joseph kept the books. He was like the CPA for Potiphar's house. Like, he had everything. He was in charge of everything. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. Okay. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes on him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She cast her eyes upon Joseph and said, lie with me. Oh my goodness. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house. So he doesn't know anything he got in the house, and he that committeth all that he had to my hand. So he's given me everything. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee. Now you the only thing he kept back. That's the only thing I can't have. Okay. Now I know he probably made that up, but he's being honest and righteous in this matter. Okay? Because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? So he knew that if he did that, he would be sinning against God, not even sinning against Potiphar. So, every sin that is against God. And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her. So she kept on egging him on. Do you see, this is not just a one-time deal. This is not just a one-time occurrence. So as she spake to him day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. So it was not just a one-time occurrence. I think we, you know how I learned it? I learned that, that Joseph, it was just that one time where she cried rape, but she was taunting him the whole time. The whole time. So it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business. Okay, what business? He probably went to go use the bathroom or relieve himself, and there was none of the men of the house there within, and she caught him by his garment. Okay, well, his business might have been anything. I don't know. It could have been just taking inventory of the cattle or something, or just, okay, in the house checking to make sure all the toiletry was there or had enough dishes or whatever business they talked about that they was doing. That's what was being said. And so nobody's there with him, just him. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. Okay? So why did he get him out? Because he didn't want to be caught up with her. Okay? He left because he did not want to be caught dead with her. Right? So what happened? He left his garment like a good old princess or Cinderella. He left his stuff, and now she's trying to set him up. Anyway, I digress because I already know the story. But then it's always good to read it again, because actually I didn't even recognize before that there's a connotation of that she kept on egging him, because it says day by day. So it wasn't just a one-time thing where she tried him. It was like she was letting him know, hey, I like you. I like you. Come lie with me. Every time she had an opportunity, she was trying to talk to him. So then he kept on saying no. And it came to pass about this time that she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. Okay, so it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, now and was fled forth. So he saw she left his garment. Then she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, and saying, see, he hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. So when she didn't get her way, this is sad. When she didn't get her way, went and just decided that they was just gonna go ahead and lie on him. So that was not good. It's never good. Like when you get your way, that was so like retribution. It was like retaliation. So I don't get my way, so I'm gonna retaliate. I'm gonna lie. So sometimes lying on the truth is happens when there's envy, when there's jealousy, when there's all type of evil and malice. That's where it stems from, you know. So it came to pass when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment for her until his Lord came home. And she came and spake. She spake unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant, which thou hast brought unto us, came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass as I lifted up my voice and cried, and he left his garment with me and fled out. Wow. He left his garment with me and fled out. Because she's basically saying that he was trying me. Let me see if I can get some better lighting. This way. Oops, sorry. Okay, so anyway, let's continue this talk. And it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him after this manner, did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. So he got really mad at this point because he was like, what? Are you serious? Religion. Yeah, so I'm talking about the beginning. What happened in the beginning with Joseph was very tragic. It was a tragedy that the wife of Potiphar would try to set him up this way. And so it came to pass when his master heard, after this manner he did servant to me. Like, this wrath was kindled, and Joseph's master took him. So he took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor. Okay. So even though he was put in prison, the Lord was with Joseph. No matter like where he went, he was blessed. Okay, so Judas wasn't. Joseph was. Look at the blessing of the Lord and where it went. But anyway, that's just how it came to be. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. So now the prison guard, he liked Joseph. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. Awesome. Awesomeness. And so it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. Okay, so let me ask you this. Is the king the same as Pharaoh? Pharaoh the same as king? I don't want to know. because it said, and Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers. And then but at first, the butler of the king of Egypt. So was the king of Egypt called Pharaoh? All right. That's a good question. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard into the prison, place where Joseph was bound. And then the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them. So basically, he put him in charge of them. And he served them, and they continued a season in ward. Okay. So actually, this is the first time they really talk about ward being responsible. A ward is the responsible or like in charge, or where they were captive. Anyway, and they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream. The butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. They were very sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of the Lord's house, wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpretation of it. There's no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me then, I pray you. And the chief butlers told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup. And then I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine hand and head and restore thee unto thy place. So you want to go back to your job. So this was who was this? The baker or the okay, so I'm not sure which one of them it was, but Pharaoh lifted up his head and restored thee unto thy place, and delivered Pharaoh's cup in his hand, and after the former manner was the blood. So that was a butler, right? So, but think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray you, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. Because he was ready to go. Joseph wanted to get out of there. He did not want to be in there any longer. For indeed I have stolen away out of land of Hebrew. So he was stolen from his kindred. He is not where he's supposed to be. He felt like he was captive and not meant to be there. He was ready to get out and go. So, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. Oh, so now this is the first mention of a dungeon. So all of these words, these naming conventions were, basically talked about. So talk about a dungeon, they talk about the ward, they're talking about prison. So they're giving all these names to the same area, position, place that Joseph was put in. Okay, I want you to notice and pay attention to all these words that are being mentioned, that talk about the same thing, because that happens a lot. And in a lot of these stories that's in the Bible, it happens a lot where they give different names to the same thing. And it could make it confusing, right? It could seem like some inconsistencies, or could make it seem like these words have different meanings at different times depending on who's saying it and when they're saying it. So yeah, that can lead to confusion. And you know, God is not author of confusion. So when the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he's like, okay, yeah, good. And also in a dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. So the chief baker, now he's trying to tell his dream to see, okay, well, if he got a good interpretation, I'm probably going to get a good interpretation too, right? No. And in the uppermost basket, there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, right? And the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. Listen, the 3 baskets are 3 days. And yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. Oh my gosh. So yeah, he's about to face his death in 3 days. Instead of a good report, he got a bad report. So he wasn't expecting that. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all the servants, and he lifted up his head of the chief butler and the chief butler among his servants, and he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup unto Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgat him. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Joseph dreamed, Pharaoh dreamed. And behold, he stood by the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. Now, this is the first time I ever seen the word kine, K-I-N-E. You tell me in the comments, like, really? Kine's never mentioned before, so now all of a sudden it's kine. And they're talking about the cattle. It's talking about the animal. Fat flesh, and they fed in a meadow. And so you know it's an animal because they eating in the pasture, right? And behold, 7 other kine came up after them. Okay. And out of the river, ill-favored and lean flesh, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and lean flesh kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke. So he woke up from his dream because they had you know what that was all about. And he slept and dreamed the 2nd time, and behold, 7 ears of corn came up on the stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled. And he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. But there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants and put me in ward. There you go, they got that word again, put me in ward. So ward was a prison. In the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. Let's stop for a moment because I gotta talk about this. It's not a popular thing. But in my church, or the church that I was attending, they had this thing called ward. So, and it's so funny that this all tradition. This is all about like tradition. So traditionally, they would say, okay, you are, somebody's your ward. That means they in charge of you. So you have somebody over you. It's supposedly to take care of you, not necessarily to be bad to you, but in church, the ward was like a deacon or a deaconess or a family, the deacon and deaconess together, like they would make sure that you were okay and things of that nature. So I wonder why they would use the name ward to describe this person that would be in charge of you and to take care of you in the same way that Ward was a prisoner. A prisoner? Like, it's just so weird. Like, why they would choose that to call it that, Ward. So even in a legal sense, Ward meant that a ward of the court, that would mean somebody who is up under the government's jurisdiction, to be also to be taken care of, to be looked over, looked after, I should say, looked after, overseen. I'm not sure if that's such a good word, but it's kind of like they're a prisoner, or that they were like confined or bound. Okay, so like there's a binding in that word, right? So anyway, that's what I wanted to kind of bring out, because of the fact that this is being mentioned in the captain of the guard's house. All right, and the chief baker, both me and the chief baker. So now he's explaining to him what happened. So the butler's explaining, because the baker did, but he's explaining what happened when the Potiphar had his dream, and he's trying to find out what the interpretation of it was. And we dreamed a dream in one night, and I and he, we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dreams. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream he did interpret. And it came to pass as he interpreted it to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. So now there's like, he's in ward, he's in the dungeon, all meaning the same thing. And he shaved himself and changed his raiment. So he was probably scruffy at this time. Molly had a full beard and everything. So he got cleaned up. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer. So he's like, it's not me. It's God. God is the one giving it. God is the one doing the interpretation, not me. I don't have nothing to do with that. God is the God of dreams, like he's the one that's gonna make everything good for you. And I need to get some good lighting here. Let's see if I can get some. Oh, maybe I'll do like this. There. Is that better? Okay, let's see. All right, I'm trying to get it to where I can be seen. My lighting was looking crazy, being bad, but I'm trying to fix it. Okay, that's a little bit better. I'm a little greasy. My face is oily. Okay, so let's see. What do you think about this being this dream? He's interpreting dreams now. Now Joseph went from dreaming to interpreting dreams. You know, he wasn't no longer the one dreaming. He was interpreting dreams. But he didn't. Well, he wasn't even able to interpret his own dream. To be honest with you, he couldn't interpret his own dream. He didn't know that. Hey, years from now, you're gonna be caught up. You're gonna be in somebody's house. So now you're gonna take over for the Pharaoh. Now you're gonna be second in charge over everything. You're gonna have all this power and privilege, and then you gonna end up being seen by your brother in the famine. Dang, he didn't even know. He had no idea what his dream meant when he saw the stars and bowing and the sheaves of wheat bowing and all that stuff. He didn't even know. Or did he? Drop in the comments if you think that Joseph knew what his dream meant, since he's doing all this interpretation of dreams now. He's interpreting Pharaoh's, the butler, the baker, all their dreams. I wonder if he knew what his dream meant from the beginning. Now therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land. I think I skipped some. Yeah, because right now Pharaoh's telling his dream. 7 other kind came up after. Poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. Like, I never seen them so bad. And yeah, so I never seen the bad and lean and ill-favored kind. Okay, and when they had eaten them up, it could not be known what they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored as at the beginning. So I awoke, and I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears, and I told this unto the magicians. But there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God has showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kind were 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kind that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears, blasted with the east wind, shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. So God showed him what he's about to do. Has not God always shown his people when he's about to do something? He always been a proactive God. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine. And all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. So they're going to forget all about every good that they had. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of the famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will surely bring it to pass. And therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the fifth part of the land. A fifth. So not a tenth, but a fifth. Mm-hmm. Um, and let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh. And now let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store to land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. Okay. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh. So Pharaoh said, okay, I like this interpretation. I think you're doing good. Okay. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God has showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. So you the one. You said bring somebody up who wise. That's you. So it's got to be you. Thou shalt be over my house. You won't be the one in charge. And according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Nobody else gonna be greater, but you gonna be the greatest. Okay. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it into Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen. No. So this is supposed to give value to linen. You know, everybody say that when you mention something, when it was first mentioned, that's how we know gold is valuable. How we know that bdellium and onyx stone, how that's valuable, because it was said that it was valuable, right? But these people are saying that the linen, the fine linen, was valuable, and put a gold chain about his neck. We know gold was valuable because gold was very good. Okay? And it was even used for exchange of money. Okay? So, yes. Let's continue. And he made him to ride in the second chariot. Okay, so now we have chariots. Well, we know we had wagons, right? Hold up. Or am I reading ahead? Sometimes I'm saying more than I'm saying what I already know ahead of time than what I'm reading at the moment. So I'm sorry about that if I'm saying ahead of time, but he was in the second chariot. So he put him in the second chariot, which he had, and they cried before him, bowed the knee, and he made him ruler over all. So he bowed the knee. Have you ever seen those movies or those things where they took the knight, so he knighted him, bowed the knees, and gave him the ring and all that stuff? So a lot of some of these traditions came out of the very first mentions. Yeah. And so he made him a ruler over all. And so Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath Paneah. And he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. So Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. So now he is marrying an Egyptian woman. Yeah, he married an Egyptian woman because he got Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, and Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. He was only 30. He was still young. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by handfuls. Like, there was so much harvest and so much plenty that there was like, okay, so this is good. This is the good years. 7 good years that was happening. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. And the food of the field which was round about every city laid he up the same. And he did the same thing in all the cities. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much until he left numbering, for it was without number. So it was so much. He stopped counting. So he just stopped counting because it was so much. Can you imagine it was so much that he just stopped counting? Because it was without number. And so Joseph was born 2 sons. And before the years of the famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of his first one Manasseh, for God had said, he had made me forget all my toil. So he made me forget all my toil, Manasseh, and all my father's house. And the name of the second called Ephraim, for God had caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Fruitful in affliction, Ephraim. Amen. And so, let's talk about that. He was fruitful in his affliction. Everything he did prospered. He was so blessed by God. And the 7 years of plenty that was in the land were ended. So it was done. 7 years had gone by. And the 7 years of dearth began. Dearth. That's the first time they said the word dearth. Dearth. That has a connotation of the famine. Desert, right? Desert. Yeah, so dearth began. Okay, someone liked my comment. Okay, so dearth began to come, according to Joseph has said, and the dearth was in all the land, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. So they had enough. They had bread in Egypt. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph. What he said to you, do. Listen. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. Everybody was without. This famine was everywhere. Wow. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto Egyptians, and famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all the countries came into Egypt to Joseph to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all the lands. And now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do you look upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy from us from thence, that we may live and not die. So, all this time, I did not realize, and I think I said this in another devotional, that I did not even realize that the whole reason why they went to Egypt was because there was a famine in the land. See, you should never read the word of God in bits and pieces, because you don't get the whole story. You don't understand the whole story. You know what I mean? It's so important to get the full story. And even with the story what we have, it's not a full story because it's still in bits and pieces. You don't get the full thing because um it's not fully understood. And some of the words for me, I like, they're not even the same meaning. Oh my gosh. I'm having such a hard time. I feel like y'all seeing me kind of cocked to the side. It's not even like, how you call it? It's not even straight to me. I feel like I'm not straight. That's why I'm having a little trouble. Okay, so let me see if I could do it like this. All right. Oh, okay. So that's a little bit better. What you think? He's a little bit too close to me though. Y'all a little bit too close. You can see all my blemishes. Okay, so all right, y'all. I've already been going an hour. We are in chapter 41. And in the 7 plenteous years, he had the food. Round about every city, he had all the food. And the country came into Egypt to buy corn. Oh, okay. So now Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt. So Jacob think his son is dead. He thinking Joseph is gone. So, but he heard that there's corn in Egypt. How he saw corn in Egypt? Said his son, why do you look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us then from thence, that we may live and not die. Okay. We don't want to die here, so let's go get some corn in Egypt. So Joseph's 10 brethren went down. So 10, I thought he had 11. So one got left behind. Who you think that was? Girl, it was Benjamin. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren. For he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. So he's like, I don't want nothing to happen to my other son. So he's precious in his sight. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came. For the famine was in the land of Canaan, and Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, whence come ye? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. So they didn't even recognize their own brother. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land. Ye are come. And they said unto him, nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. So that's the reason why we came. It's to buy food. Why are all the man's sons? We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and the one is not. So when they talk about the one is not, they talking about Joseph himself. Like, you talking about me. You talking about me. So, they really talking about Joseph was not, but that's not true. He wasn't not. He was right in front of them, but they didn't even recognize him. Oh my goodness. Send one of you and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved. So they can try to prove that you're right. So here's the first time they mention proof, reproof, reproach, proof. Yeah, those are buzzwords. Whether there be any truth in you, or else be the life of Pharaoh, surely ye are spies. And he put them all together in ward 3 days. So he put them in prison 3 days. So he put them in ward. So they captured them, put them in jail, in the dungeon. Ain't that something? 3 days. And Joseph said unto them, the third day, this do and live, for I fear God. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses, but bring your youngest brother unto me. So shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. And they said one to another, we are very guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul, and when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, spake not unto you, saying, do not sin against a child, and ye would not hear? Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. Oh. They were speaking another language altogether? Do you see this? They spake through an interpreter, and he turned himself about from them and wept. So he tried to cry with his head turned. And returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus he did unto them, and they ladded their asses. Ladded? That's the first time. Ladded? Like they got on their asses, or they saddled? Saddled? Ladded? Saddled their asses with the corn and departed. Okay, so they feel it. Yeah, with the corn and departed. So they put the corn on the back of the ass. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied his money. For behold, it was in the sack's mouth. Uh-oh. And he said unto his brother, my money is restored. I still got my money right here. How did that happen? And lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, what is this that God has done unto us? They blaming God. They're like, what? Oh, no, wait. And they came unto Jacob, their father, unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, the man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, we are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country said unto us, Hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me and take food. So now they telling that they daddy everything. Food for the family of your households and be gone. So bring your youngest brother and unto me, that show me that you're not a spy. So he's like, okay, y'all spies. You got to prove that you're not a spy. Go get your younger brother and come on back. So I know that you are a true man. So will I deliver you your brother? You get Simeon back, and ye shall traffic in the land. So you can you can travel freely through the land. Okay. Um, this is the first time traffic is stated. So, and it came to pass as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man bundle of money is in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob, their father, they being set up. Jacob, their father, said unto them, Me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not. Oh my goodness. And ye will take Benjamin away? Hold on, wait. All these things are against me. I can't. I can't. And Reuben spake unto his father, saying, Slay my two sons if I bring him not to thee. Oh wow. Reuben said, Take my sons if I don't come back, and I will bring him to thee again. I'll bring him back. I promise. It's my promise that I'm going to bring him back. And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Like he said, I'm going to die a very, very sad man. And the famine was sore in the land. And it came to pass, when they eaten of the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spake unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. So this is how he talking about Joseph. And Judah spake unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. So listen to this. So Judah is with all his brothers, but I thought Judah was gone somewhere else, having Tamar and all that. I don't know. This is different. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, Wherefore dealt ye so ill with me? Why you dealt with me so ill, as to tell the man whether ye had yet another brother? Like, why you told that man you got another brother? Why you do this to me? Oh my gosh. Just so much drama. So much drama. He is so flustered at this point. He's so mad. Oh my goodness. Bring your brother down. Go ahead. We certainly know you have another. And we told him, according to the tenor of these words, could we certainly know that what he would say, bring your brother down? We didn't know he was going to ask for his brother. Like, he had no idea. See, and you couldn't know. He couldn't know. So it didn't matter that they told all the truth, because they didn't know what was going to happen by telling the truth. And that rightly so. And so Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me. Send him with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die. Because if we don't get no food, we're going to die. But he did have provisions for the way. I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee. Then let me bear the blame forever. Let it be on me. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. Come on, we playing around. And their father Israel said unto them, if it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessel, and carry down the man a present, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. He's like, bargain with this man, please. Give him some nuts and seeds and honey. Oh my gosh. And almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that brought again in the mouth of your sack. So take more money. So they had money. Carry it again in your hand. See, the money was no good without food. Like, the money fails. Did the money not fail? Like, it didn't even matter that they had money if there was nothing coming out of the land. What happened when the food fails? When the food fails, does it even matter that you got money? What gonna happen to the money? The money ain't gonna be used for nothing. Listen, this is some serious stuff. Take also your brother and arise. Go again unto the man, and God Almighty give you mercy. Give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your brother. Right now, he's Zaphatneah and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. So he said, if it be, let it be. And the man took that present and took double money in the hand, and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, bring these men home and slay and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. So he's like, kill the fatted calf. We are about to have a feast. Okay. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time, and we brought in, that it may seek occasion against us and fall upon us and take us for bondmen and our asses. They scared. They're like, oh my God, they're taking us in. Oh my goodness. We're about to get killed. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house and said, oh, sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. So we already came before to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the sack, and money was full weight. And we have brought it again. Here we go. We brought it again. Here you go. Because, we came and we brought you some more money too. Down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money back in our sacks. And he said, peace be with you. Fear not. Your God and the God of your father have given you treasure in your sacks. Okay. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. Oh, it's a reunion. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water. And they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph, came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand in the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. This is the fulfillment of the dream, right? The dream, like they bowed to their brother. Do you understand? This is the fulfillment. Whew. And they answered. Okay, and he asked them of their welfare and said, is your father well? The old man of whom ye spake, like it wasn't his own daddy. How you gonna is he yet alive? So he's trying to find out with the information about, okay, well, is his daddy alive? And they answered, thy servant our father is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep. Okay, so his bowels yearned, like he was welling up with emotions, like he was getting emotional, right? So when it said the bowels did yearn, you could tell he was getting emotional and he sought where to weep. So these are indications of what these words mean. Even if you don't know what yearn mean, if you don't know what bowels mean, like, you know that there's some emotional stuff going on, because he was looking for where to weep, where to cry. He was looking for a good place to escape, to cry, because he was so emotional. And he entered in his chamber and wept there. Okay? And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, Sit on bread. Set on bread. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. What? Do y'all hear this? It was an abomination for Hebrews to eat with the Egyptians. What? When did this happen? And they sat before him the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth, and the men marveled one at another. And he took and sent masses unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs, and they drank and were merry with them. And he commanded the stewards of his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken, as soon as the morning was light. The men were sent away, they and their asses, and when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when thou hast overtaken them, say unto them, Wherefore have you rewarded evil for good? He set him up. He set him up. He put his silver cup in Benjamin's sack and all the food and corn money, and boom, he set him up. And they said unto him, Wherefore said Lord these words? God forbid that thy servant should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of the Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let them die, and we will be my Lord's bondmen. And he said, Now also let it be according unto the word. He with whom it is found shall my servant, and shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Okay, I think I already said that. Then they rent their clothes and laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. Like, please. They pleaded. They pleading at this point. No, please don't take my brother. Please don't take my brother. They will kill my daddy. He will die. He will be dying in sorrow. And so Joseph said unto them, what deed is this that you have done? Wot ye not that such a man can certainly divine? Certainly divine. Divine. Don't you know that such a man as that I am such a man that I can distinguish, that I can tell the difference, that I can discern, divine, to discern? Oh, I can see what y'all up to. And Judah said, what shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak, or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so, but the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. Man, he about to send him away without his brother? Oh, ain't no way. Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ear, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant. For thou art even as Pharaoh. You in charge, I promise you. My Lord asked his servant, saying, have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou saidst unto thy servant, bring him down unto me, that I may set mine eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, the lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And thou sayest unto thy servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant my father, we told him the words of my Lord. So they talking about Joseph. And our father said, go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down if our youngest brother, if our youngest be not with us. So brother be with us, then will we go down. For we may not see the man's face except our youngest brother be with us. So we have to have Benjamin. So they tell him the story all over again. So they told it to him. They told it to their daddy. They told it to Joseph again. And thy servant, my father, said unto us, ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons, the one from me. And I said, surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And if ye take this from me, and mischief befall him, you shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. So basically he just said verbatim what his daddy said. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant, my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass when he seeth that this lad is not with us, that he will die, and thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant, our father, with sorrow to the grave. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. So this is Judah. This is Judah saying, now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad. So take me instead. Do not take my brother, because that would just kill my father. Do you see? He is a repentant heart. Said he did not want his father to suffer grievously. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father. He really loved his daddy. He did not want to see nothing bad happen to his dad. He didn't want to see his dad suffer anymore, because he knew what he had done, him and his brothers. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all of them, and stood, and he cried, caused every man to go out for him. Oh, he said, cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brother. He showed everybody who he was. He wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Does my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. They were shocked. And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, now angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve life. Okay? For these 2 years have the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years more, in the which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God. Dang, God sent him. And he had made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, thus saith thy son Joseph, God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not. He said, go get my daddy and bring him immediately. You hear me? Tarry not means come on now, right now, and don't delay. Defer not. You get it? And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children and thy children's children, and thy flocks and thy herds, and all thou hast. So bring everything. You're going to live in the land of Goshen, so you can be close. Wow. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou, thy household, and all that come to poverty. So he saved them. This is the first time poverty is mentioned. Right? Because if you don't bring your cattle and all that stuff, guess what? Your cattle gonna be dead. Everything you have gone. Done for. Because ain't nothing happening with that ground. There's a dearth in the land. And we only 2 years in. My God. God sent me here to save our family. Okay? Dang. This is this is serious. This is awesome. I love it. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of your brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. Okay? And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. Bring him. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them, and after that his brethren talked with him. Okay, because they were speechless up to now. They was like, oh my gosh. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, And it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, say unto thy brethren, this do ye, lade your beasts, and go, get you unto the land of Canaan. Go now and take your father and your household and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Now thou art commanded, this do ye, take your wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones. Okay, so this is the first mention of wagons. And I think the reason why I thought that I had already said it because I had put it in the description. So you have to forgive me because I'd be like, okay, did I say it already? I've been getting mixed up because I had already read it and I prepared to say it to you. So I say it as if it was the first time I ever said it. So yeah, that don't always work because I know that I didn't say it. And so when I do say it, then it comes out before I really mean to say it. If that even makes sense. So wagons, they had wagons in those days. It was their transportation along with camels and things of that nature. Okay. Now, thou art commanded, this do ye, take your wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. So now he's giving them wagons. Egypt had wagons, y'all, so they can ride in style. Okay. All right. Also, regard not your stuff. Don't worry about your stuff, for the good of the land is yours. And the children of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all them, he gave each man changes of raiment. So he gave him a change of clothes. But to Benjamin, he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of clothes. There he got more than everybody. And to his father he sent after this manner 10 asses laden with good things of Egypt, and 10, like, why you sending them with so much stuff? They're gonna have to come and bring it back. With cornbread, meat for his father by the way. Okay, so they can have food when they, on their way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, see that ye fall not out by the way. Don't fall out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land. Okay, pump the brakes. Stop for a second. Governor. He was a second in charge. So this is where governor comes in, because there ain't nobody. He's a spokesperson, governor. He was in charge over all the land. So here's the governor. Listen. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. He couldn't believe it. He was in awe. Jacob was like, what? Seriously? I could hear him chiming in, talking about, what? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. What you talking about? You can't be serious. Seriously? Wow, Joseph, my son. Woo! After all this time, how many years? And he got kids. Now he got 2 kids. Now he get to see his grandsons. Okay, so I'm kind of telling this story before. I'm spoiling it, so sorry. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. There's a revival. Hey, a revival. And Israel said, it is enough. Joseph, my son, is yet alive. Hallelujah. I will go and see him before I die. Yes. Woo, glory. And Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices unto God of his father Isaac. Okay? and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices unto God. Okay, so he made a pit stop in Beersheba, made sacrifices unto God. Yeah. And God spake unto Israel in the visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here am I. And he said, I am God, the God of thy father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation. I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will also surely bring thee up again. And Joseph shall put his hand upon thine eyes. Okay. And Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried Jacob, their father, and their little ones, and their wives in the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him. And they took their cattle and their goods, which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with them. So everybody, lottie-dottie, everybody come. His sons and his sons' sons with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his seed brought he him with into Egypt. And these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt: Jacob and his sons, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn. And the sons of Reuben, Hanok and Phalu and Hezron and Carmi. You're gonna learn. Anyway, Carmi. And the sons of Simeon, Jemuel, and Jamin, and Ohad, and Jachin, and Zoar, and Shaul, the son of Canaanitish woman. And the sons of Levi, because Simeon, he went out and married a Canaanitish woman. And the son of Levi, Gershon, and Kohath, and Merari. And the sons of Judah, and Onan, and Shelah. What? Okay, well, no. How they didn't know? Okay, they were dead, right? But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. Oh, okay, they fixed it. They said it. Onan died in the land of Canaan. Okay. But Pharez and Zerah. I thought it was Zara. See, that's the thing. When they be writing these names, they be writing them. They be doing the wrong thing. Wow, that's way back there. See, Zara was Z-A-R. Even in the same Old Testament, they spell Zara two different ways. Z-A-R-A-H was the first one. And then in the second, in Genesis chapter 46, then they say Zerah, Z-E-R-A-H. So it wasn't even the same spelling within the same testament. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Pharez were Hezron and Hamil. Okay. And the sons of Issachar, Tola and Fuva and Job, and it could be Job, and Shimron. And the sons of Zebulun was Sered and Elon and Jaleel. And these be the sons of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob in Padanaram, which his daughter Dinah, all the souls of his sons and his daughters were 33. Wow, so he had 33. And the sons of Gad, Ziphion and Haggai and Shuni and Esbon, Eri, Aradai, and Erli. And the sons of Asher, Jimnah and Ishua and Isui and Beriah and Sarah, their sister, and sons of Beriah, Heber, and Kiel. Okay, these are the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and these she bare unto Jacob even 16 souls. Then the sons of Rachel, Jacob's wife, Joseph and Benjamin, and unto Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bare unto him. And the sons of Benjamin were Bilhah, and Becher, and Ashbel, Gera, and Naaman, I know Naaman, Ehi, and Rosh, Mupim, Hupim, and Ard. These are the sons of Rachel, which were born to Jacob. All the souls were 14. So Benjamin even had some sons. Wow, that was awesome. And the sons of Dan, Hushim, and the sons of Naphtali, Jazeel, and Guni, and Jezer, and Shillem. These are all the sons of Bilhah, which Laban gave unto Rachel his daughter, and she bare these unto Jacob. So Bilhah, the handmaid, she had those children, and all the souls were 7. All the souls that came with Jacob unto Egypt, which came out of his loins, besides Jacob's sons' wives, all the souls were 66. 66. Okay. And the sons of Joseph, which were born him in Egypt, were 2 souls. All the souls of the house of Jacob, which came into Jacob, were 70. So 70. Okay, so yeah, sons of Joseph were 2 souls, all the souls of the house of Jacob. So it was like 4 of them, because it was him, his wife, and 2 kids, Ephraim and Manasseh. So that made it 70. Wow. So yeah, Jacob had 70 souls in his family. And he sent Judah, so that all his grandkids, all his kids and grandkids, and he sent Judah before him unto Joseph to direct his face unto Goshen. And they came into the land of Goshen. And Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to meet Israel his father to Goshen, and presented himself unto him, and he fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. So he's on there a good while. He just stayed on there like, my daddy, I miss you so much. I can just imagine. Oh my gosh. It's been so long. Oh my gosh. I'm feeling emotional just thinking about it, y'all. I really am. I really get into this storyline, because it really it hurt my heart, everything that Joseph had to go through. Maybe because my last name is Joseph, I don't know. But yeah. So it just meant so much. Yeah, he wept on his father a good while. And Israel said unto Joseph, now let me die, since I have seen thy face, because thou art yet alive. So he said, I can die now. And Joseph said unto his brethren and unto his father's house, I will go up and show Pharaoh, and say unto him, my brethren and my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me, and the men are shepherds, for their trade hath been to feed cattle, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. And it can and shall come to pass, when Pharaoh shall call you and shall say, what is your occupation? That ye shall say, thy servant's trade had been about cattle from our youth even until now. And both we and also our fathers, that we may dwell in the land of Goshen, For every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians. What? Every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Wow. That's crazy. So they had to say that they're not sheep keepers, but that they were cattle goers or something. That they had to tell them that their occupation was doing cattle and not sheep. That's crazy, because if they didn't say that, then they would be an abomination to the Egyptians. You believe that? Like, that's crazy. Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brethren and their flocks and their herds and all that they had are come out of the land of Canaan. And behold, they are in the land of Goshen. So now they in Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, what is your occupation? So he already set them up. He already knew that they was going to ask what you do for a living. What's your occupation? You see that? So he already prepared him. It's almost as if Joseph was like really, really, really like intuitive, like very divine, for lack of a better word, like, because he said it himself. Like, don't you know I'm already? I can foretell what he was going to ask you. So Pharaoh said unto the brethren, what's your occupation? And so they said unto Pharaoh, thy servants are shepherds, both we and our fathers. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, for to sojourn in the land we are come, for thy servant have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is sore. Okay. In the land of Canaan. Now therefore we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spake unto Joseph, saying, thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt is before thee. In the best of the land make thy father and brethren to dwell. Let them live there. Okay. And over my cattle. So they're going to be in charge. They're going to be rulers over the cattle. Okay, so that's going to be their occupation. So Joseph brought in Jacob, his father, and set him, before Pharaoh. And so Jacob blessed Pharaoh because of it. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, how old art thou? How old are you? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. So he was 130 at this point. And my life been and my not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of the pilgrimage. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt. So now they living in Goshen. And so since now they in Goshen, Joseph placed his father and his brethren and gave them the possession in the land of Egypt, in the best land, the land of Ramesses. And Pharaoh had commanded, and Joseph nourished his father, just like he said, and his brethren, all his father's house, with bread according to their families. Because at least Jacob thought he was going to die. It's like, I got to see you. I'm ready. I'm good. I could die now. But he didn't know he was about to be nourished in his old age by his son. Yes, that was a beautiful thing for him to be taken into Goshen. And there were no bread in all the land. So this was the last 5 years of the famine. And they had no bread in the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered all of the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they brought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. So when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph. So they knew that Joseph was favored with God. So they had to come to him because money failed at that point. The failure of money. Can you imagine? Like, it don't matter how much money you have, you ain't got no food. So at that point in the land of Egypt, okay, and so Joseph, he came to Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in the presence, for the money faileth? Okay, so no, it didn't matter how much money they had, they didn't have no food. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail. And they bought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses and for the flocks and for the cattle of the herds and for the asses. And he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. So he was nourishing them up. When that year had ended, they came unto him the second year and said unto him, we will not hide it from my Lord how that our money is spent. Like, we don't even have no more money. Sorry. We can't. I don't even know what to tell you. So what can we do? We don't, our money is spent. What can we do without no money? My Lord also hath our herds and cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord but our bodies. So now they got to sell themselves. All we got is our bodies left. Oh my goodness. So now you see how they came into slavery? Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us in our land for bread. Do you see? This is the source of slavery. They didn't have no money. They didn't have no food. Here, buy us. We give you us so that we can live. Come on now. And we in our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he removed them to the cities, from one end of the borders of Egypt, even to the other end thereof. Only the land of the priest bought he not. So the only people that didn't get their land bought was the priests. Okay, so, and they assigned portions of that. So only the land of the priest bought he not, for the priest had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh. So they was assigned it. And they did eat their portion, which Pharaoh gave them. Wherefore they sold not their land. So they didn't have to sell their land. So the priests kept their land. Then Joseph said unto the people, behold, I have bought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is the seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. So now y'all farmers, y'all gonna be working for the land for Pharaoh, so you don't die. Do you see how slavery began? How they became enslaved to the Egyptians because of the famine. Here, this is the source. And you know, for a long time, and it was already told that this was going to happen for 400 years. God had already prescribed it and said that this was going to happen. Okay. Then it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and the fourth part shall be your own, for seed of the field, and for your food, and for them of your household, and for food for your little ones. So he got 4/5 of it, and they only kept 1/5. Wow. And they said, thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the fifth part, except the land of the priests only. So this is the precedent that was set. This is the first law. This is the law that was set up by Joseph because of the famine, because of what happened, which became not Pharaoh's. Okay, so the priests only, separation of church and state, I don't know. Let's look into it even more. Okay? They're the only ones that didn't have to sell their land. Amen. Which came not to be Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So Jacob lived even longer than he thought he was. He's like, oh, he thought he was going to die when he got there. So he was just happy to see his son. So the whole age of Jacob was 147. So he lived to 147. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die. So he was about to die at this point. So he called his son Joseph and said unto him, if now I have found grace in the sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh. So remember, this was a tradition that they, whenever they promised, when they was about to die and they was about to give the blessing, that they would put the hand on the thigh as a promise, as a mode of swearing, unto them. And deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt. He said, don't bury me. I don't want to be here when I die. So he made him swear that he was not going to leave him in Egypt. But I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt and bury me in the burying place. And I will do as thou hast said. So he promised. And he says, swear unto me. And he sware unto him, and Israel bowed himself unto the bed's head. Okay, so the head of the bed. All right, so it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. So now he's sick. And he took him, his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, because he wanted to go ahead and get the blessing, right? And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And said, behold, thy son Joseph comes, strengthened himself, and sat up in the bed. So he's like, okay, I got to get up because, I got to give the blessing. So Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz. So this was the original. In the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee. So he's telling of the promise. And I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. So he told him, hey, this is the promise I'm giving. Now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. Okay. And this issue, which thou begettest, because you got to remember, Reuben and Simeon was his first from Leah. And so the first two, Manasseh and Ephraim, were the first two, just as Reuben and Simeon. That's what he's talking about. And thy issue, which thou begettest after them, shall be thine, and shall be called after the names of their brethren in their inheritance. So he told them how to name them. And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath. So it was on the way to Ephrath. And I buried her there in the way of Ephrath. The name is Bethlehem. Okay. So, and Israel beheld Joseph's son and said, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom God had given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim, so he was hard of seeing. He couldn't really see that good. So that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, God has showed me also thy seed. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim and on his right hand, and towards Israel left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand towards Israel right hand. Okay, so brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and the left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hand wittingly. For Manasseh was a firstborn, so he wanted the firstborn to get the blessing. So he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life, long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Hallelujah. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. He didn't want that. He held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father. For this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, Nope. This is exactly what I want, how I want it. And he said, I know it, my son. I know it. And he also said, and he also shall become a people, and he shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater. So his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed him that day, saying, In thee shall Israel be blessed, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh, almost like when Jacob end up going before Esau. And I die, but God shall be with you, and bring you again into the land of fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and my bow. Okay, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. So now he's like, I'm ready to tell you what's going to happen. He was already like prophesying. So he bore the prophecy gene from his daddy, because Abraham was the first prophet. So he gather yourself and hear ye the sons, hearken unto the father. Listen to what I'm about to tell you, because I'm about to tell you what's going to happen. So here it is. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, and the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power, unstable as water. You're not going to excel. I paraphrase. Thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed. Do you remember what you did? Do you remember what you did? Because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defouledest thou it, because he slept with the concubine. He went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. Y'all deceivers, and y'all killed so many people. Remember Dinah, who got raped? Okay, so remember all that y'all did. Oh, my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. Mine honor be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce. They should have never done that. And their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Because after all that, he did end up to be honorable. Thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Okay? So this is how he got chosen. But we'll talk about that more later. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. my son. Thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion. Who shall raise, or who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And until him shall the gathering of the people be, binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea. So right there by the sea. And he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. And he saw that rest was good. So, and that the land, it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulders to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. So he loved tribute in the exchange of money. So Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Okay, now Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse, heels, so that his rider shall fall backwards. Okay, so he is going to be a stumbling block to end up killing. See, all of this stuff was a precursor to what was going to happen, and it happened just as he said. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Out of Asher, his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. And even Proverbs, they talk about these royal dainties. And Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. Wow. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with things, with the blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, the blessings of the breast and of the womb, being fruitful. The blessing of thy father have prevailed above the blessing of my progenitors, unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. You see, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. He is to raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey. So he's going to be like a hunter. And at night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their father spake unto them and blessed them, everyone according to his blessing, and he blessed them. And he charged them and said to them, I am to be gathered unto my people, burying me with my fathers in the cave. Because he's like, I am not going to be over here in Egypt. Please make sure you do not leave me in Egypt. Okay, so he said it a second time because he was like, I'm not playing. Don't leave me in Egypt. Okay, that in the field of Ephron the Hittite. So this was the same plot of land that he buried Sarah, where he buried Abraham. He wanted to be buried with his fathers. Okay, so he prescribed where he wanted to be in that field. In the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. So everybody end up getting buried the same place. So this was a tradition now, because it was prescribed for the whole family. The whole family buried together. Okay. And it all started when he buried Sarah, Abraham buried Sarai. Well, she later became Sarah. So there they buried Abraham and Sarah. See, I keep saying it before I even read it. There they buried Abraham and Sarah, his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah, his wife. And there I buried Leah, the purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people. Wow. Now, this is chapter 50. This is the last chapter in Genesis, and this is where Joseph is about to die, right? So, Joseph fell on his father's face and he wept. He kissed him. He wept sorely. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm. So this was the first time that they talked about really embalming people. Don't even know what that even means right off, but they embalmed his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel. So they had physicians back then in Egypt that did the embalming. So that was a way of preserving. And 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. 70. Guess what? 70 was very notable, because that's how many souls he had in his family before he died. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray thee, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die in my grave, which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan. There shalt thou bury me. Now, therefore, let me go up, I pray thee. Bury thy father. Pharaoh said, Go on up, as he made thee swear. So he agreed to let him go, and Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house, only their little ones and their flocks and their herds left in the land. So it was like a big company of people, like a whole bunch of folks. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company, huge, that they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great, very sore lamentation. Okay, this is where the first time they really talked about lamentation. It was like the crying and the wailing and being sorrowful. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. So even the Egyptians were mourning. Wherefore the name of this was called Abel Mizraim. Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. And his sons did unto him according as he commanded them. For his sons carried him in the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, and which was Abraham brought with the field for a possession and a burying place, Ephraim the Hittite and Mamre. So this is the only good thing that the ites ever did, was allowing him to bury them in that field. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, and they said, Joseph will perfect hate him. So they was like scared. They thought, okay, he gonna now try to get us back for everything that we did now that our dad is dead, and will certainly requite us of all the evil which we did unto him. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command And this is not true. They just sent a messenger lie to him pretty much to try to schmooze him, try to get on his good side. So shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren and their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servant of the God, of the God of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. He was so sad, because he was like, come on, guys. Just because my dad's dead don't mean I'm going to do nothing to you. You know. And his brethren also wept and fell down before his face, and they said, Behold, we be thy servants. So here it is, the fulfillment of the very dream that he had when he was so young. Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much alive. You know, now therefore, fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones, and be comforted. And he comforted them, and spake kindly unto them. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house, and Joseph lived 110. Joseph saw Ephraim children to the third generation. He saw his great-grandchildren. Oh, what a blessing. Oh my goodness. The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought upon Joseph's knees. So he got to see his great-grands. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and God will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land unto the land which he sware unto Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from thence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. So bless God. This was the first mention of a coffin. So these were traditions that the Egyptians were doing. But he said, you got to promise me you're going to carry my bones and take them back to where my fathers are. So and they did end up doing it. But you must know that there was a precedence and a cycle that was carried on from generation to generation, from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob and on down. But if you notice that Judah was chosen to be the lineage bearer in Matthew chapter 1. Why wasn't Joseph? I don't even know. But they chose Judah instead of Joseph. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to this devotional. I know it was a long one, but I praise God for those who came and joined and was able to share in the word. If you didn't watch the whole thing, go ahead, rewind back, when it gets posted up, so that you can see the whole progression of how, God mentioned everything aforetime. And so this is the spirit of prophecy. Everything is mentioned aforetime. When he was with them, he told them exactly what he was going to do before he did it. And he always prepared them. We never go without preparation in the things of God. When God is with us, we have everything we need to fulfill and to be blessed. So y'all go in grace and be blessed as well.